I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anybody signed up? What do you have for us?
Regarding the drill that was done last Thursday,
Okay.
I have some issues with that. This will be the third mishap I've had with this bus with my son since September. And this was the final draw with what has happened to him. I feel that his life could have been in danger if something had happened with the poorly planning done. I had filled out contact information as to receive text message, email, anything in writing, phone calls. I only received a letter from his teacher stating that what time the drill was starting, not that my son would be home early. He was home at 2:30, and the only way I found that out was I was contacted by my neighbor, which is our family too. It took me 15 minutes to get to the school, and when I got here, it took me another 10 minutes to get through to the bus garage as where the whereabouts of my son was. And then after leaving here, I got about a mile down the road, and I seen his bus pull on Gibbon Road. And when I had stopped, the bus driver, after I had got my son in the vehicle, the bus driver had informed me that he was told by Mrs. Kelly that the students are not to be dropped off with anybody but the parent at their house, unless other things were in writing or submitted prior to this drill. And being that my son has been dropped off at the neighbors before, if something like this has come up. Not only that, was the school called me exactly 5 minutes after I had my son in my possession to tell me, oops, we had the wrong student, you need to come here to pick him up. Not only that, is while I was here prior to leaving, I had overheard staff saying that 57 parents had to be contacted. Whether they had to pick them up or not, I don't know. In the email that I had sent to you and the reply from Mrs. Kelly was that 5 students. But regardless of the amount of students, it should have been pretty well informed to all parents what was going on and how soon or how late the kids were getting out. And I understand that sometimes it's hard to predict with the weather and stuff. But I had to contact a parent that hadn't heard from the school at all. She waited 10 minutes after I had called, which would have equaled 25 minutes of the school that should have contacted her. And being her son's medical condition, he was not home. I literally had to drive to their house to inform who was picking him up that he had to come to the school to get them because there was no way to contact him. And not only that, this is the third issue I've had.
So the other parent you're talking about, has she contacted the school?
She did, and
Okay.
if something is not done after tonight, there will be more parents. I have spoke with 7 already that are willing to make sure something is done. This is just to give you guys a heads up. I had emailed, I think you were the one that I had talked to.
I did see your emails.
And I mean, I think it was poorly done. To test this drill on our students, my son, I have 13 more years here with him. This is his first year with 3 mishaps now, with poor planning. What's next? Is something gonna happen to him? Is he gonna be let off somewhere else? I mean, I just fear his safety, and my choice of having him come to the school is because the school I went to, I didn't like it. We bought a house here. I expected my son to be safe here in school, and I really don't feel that he is.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming and presenting your letter, your remarks to us. And at some point tonight, we'll be discussing the drill from Ms. Kelly's point of view. And I know that there's a procedure that has to be followed, and we'll be discussing that later on. And we'll try to get back to you somehow.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any board member issues?
Yeah, I'd like to see if we could get written form instead of on the computer, you know, the agenda, if anybody's got any objections.
That's fine, she's wanted us to do that.
Well, I thought that we had to vote on it as a board when we went from,
If the board's gonna change the protocol.
Oh, right. Well, yes, we do. Because, if we do it for one, I guess, then anybody can say, I want it in paper, and then change back to doing packets again. So I guess we'll have to vote on it and see if everybody's. Anybody else want to chime in?
So if a member of the board would rather have a packet, I don't see a problem with that. We can set it up so if you choose to do it that way, you can, if not, you doing it this way, you could. My suggestion.
So like you said, you computer your calendar, it's just kind of hard for you,
but it's just,
your issues.
I'm far more comfortable with having it in written form to read it, because I just don't like that some of these.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be long to give a copy of it.
Anybody else want to comment?
I couldn't get on this today, I couldn't get to the documents again, but for some reason it wouldn't show me the documents. So I did try to do it homework. Today my work.
I couldn't get the computer to come up, but I can read it on my iPad. But I just signed off on it because it just doesn't say. But this is working.
Does anybody else have problems? I mean, at home, you could get it for some,
I got it.
you got it
I just,
under iPad.
on the iPad. When I just used this here, it would just spin, so I just went back to this.
And all they do is,
I don't have any problem mine, I have no working. So you're trying to get yours at work?
I work, yeah.
At work?
And I can get on, but the documents, the docket they're opening, but it just gives me a blank page for some reason. So I couldn't get
I
it.
have to say that it won't be as timely for Tom as it will the rest of you, because some things, now that everything's done on timely, people, like Becky isn't here every day. She's not here on the day that we do board practice, she'll bring her stuff in Friday. I don't know that Tom will get it before Monday, but
Is it
you
possible,
get them immediately when I post them.
Right.
is it possible someone one of the grandchildren?
I don't know that I will physically have
I
them
don't know
in
myself.
time.
Okay. I see today's was the 23rd, yeah.
Things have been added.
Correct.
So are you, would you be okay with that? I mean, it might be hit and miss whether you have it on Monday or not.
Yeah, it's as good as what I'm getting right now. So,
So do you want to stock up on Mondays then? Is that,
yeah, that'll work.
so you get the time? I don't know if that gives him a lot of time to review stuff, but.
Who's okay with that? I'm okay with it.
That'll work.
So is there time, Tom?
When it's comfortable for you guys.
Let's put it down here for the next meeting, and see how it goes. The next meeting, you're all gonna change. The last week when Amy showed you the new website, there's a new BOE portal on there on our homepage, and it's gonna go live before our next meeting, so you'll all be changing, supposedly it's easier. I don't know,
To get it right off the webpage?
yeah.
I
should be
see
allowed to
that
do
last time.
We will have Rob coming in to, instruct everybody, but he feels it'll be much, much easier.
Are there any other board member issues?
Just something real quick. I also on your emails in regards to the superintendent's evaluation, your email stated that it had been done on June 15th.
according to her contract.
When I read the contract, it says September 10th.
That's if you want to change the form.
That's-
502.
That's when, remember when we accepted the new form last time? That's when that has to be done. If you're gonna change the format at all, that has to be agreed on, but, I think we have it.
You know, Brad, that's up to you.
No,
I just didn't see June 15th.
I'll make sure I didn't make a mistake. I know it says it in the contract, but I think it also said it in one of the policies. and all that. I find it.
It states here, board shall conduct an annual evaluation of performance of superintendent during each year. This agreement shall provide superintendent with a written evaluation to be discussed in an executive session board no later than June 15th of each year. This is
I'm already reading that, Joe.
in the employment agreement binding between Edwards Knox Central School District and Susan and
I know I have it, because I read it, but I can't find it right now.
on page 5 of the contract.
My,
This is the current contract.
my attachment only up to page 3, so that's what it is.
I ran off I didn't run off the whole copy of the contract and send it to everybody. I just sent the portion of the job, the duties and responsibilities. But, yeah, somewhere in there does say June 15th, but the September date is when we have to adopt for the next year, we have to have all that done by September 10th of this year. Whatever, if we're gonna change the form or anything, or the format. Are there any other board member issues? Are you paying that? All right,
Thank you.
all right. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 14th? Joe?
Such a
Yeah, that was actually-
That was Lynn.
Oh, Lynn, so,
I'll start saying,
Thank
so
you.
it's Joe and Lynn, or?
No, that ain't
Lynn
right.
and Reggie, okay. Wonderful. Mail's homes, all in something, we sometimes, okay. Any questions about that? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the following warrant on file in the business office? Randy?
Second, Chris.
Yes. Any questions or comments?
I had asked about both CP's evaluations done by the psychologist, and is that paid on a per basis every time?
They're not both seats, it's contractors and second evaluations.
He's our employee,
What are we paying
per eval.
per eval? And how many days is he here?
However many, we don't have a set amount. What we do each year is, Sherry does all new re-evals, or new evals, and pretty much he picks up all the other re-evals unless she's at a slow point. So it's just each year varies. But during the spring, it increases immensely because when she starts the major part of her CSE, she's not doing re-evals.
Approximately how much year?
Can't answer that. I'll get back to you. Okay. How much do you pay your?
That's the only service he gives us, is just the revals.
Say that.
That's the only service he gives us, is just the revals.
Yes.
Are you also? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Ms. Vogel, could you go back to the motion for the minutes on the annual meeting?
I'm sorry?
think it was the 14th we approved.
Well-
And then next, the second motion is the 14th and the 20th.
Yes.
Which would be.
So I did the first one and not the second
I
one.
believe so.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 14th and 21st?
So, right.
Joe will say.
Thanks, guys. Can I have a motion to accept the claims of?
Hold on.
Sorry, what's wrong with you tonight? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. I don't know. Can I have a motion to accept the claims audit report dated May 13th?
So moved. Second.
Rick and Chris? Is that all right? Any questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the results of the May 21st annual meeting votes and board member elections?
So, Reggie.
Reggie? And second?
Second.
Chris? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to appoint Suzanne Kelly as the payroll certification officer?
With.
Lynn? And a second?
Ready, second.
Randy? Can you explain what that is for us, Sue?
Basically, this came out of our audit with the gentleman that is going to be coming this evening, that we do not have such a position here, and we need to have that, so it's to oversee the payroll.
It's to approve that the people who aren't being paid work here.
Do you just review the payroll monthly, is it scheduled?
Bi-monthly.
Do you operate, you have electronic time clock, right? So, you just,
We don't, our staff don't punch in, we have a time clock for custodial staff, and then bus extra run.
John probably reviews and approves that all.
I'm sorry,
John probably reviews and approves all.
Yes, the supervisor should approve the immediate time. So this is after Angie's already done the paychecks.
Mhm.
She looks at it and says, okay, yes, this person works here, they were paid to make sure that no one's getting slided, so then.
it's never happened before. We
No.
haven't done it.
I
No,
can see
it's,
the district.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens, you know it happened somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a formality that came out of the Long Island scandal a few years back. Where people were always,
As a result of stuff in law.
Do they ever have teachers clock in though, with time clock? Any
Here or
school?
in general,
Any school, I've never heard of it.
I'm not aware of that either.
What, be different approach from the,
We used to have to sign in,
yeah,
haven't seen it, you signed in and out every day.
You're probably considered non-exempt, or exempt, I mean, employees.
Yeah, just, that's
Or salary, yeah.
Salary.
You know, yeah, workers,
It's a little hard for them to show up and disappear.
The first period kids are running out.
Yeah. Always a notice.
Any other questions about that? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried, you have your duty. Can I have a motion to approve the following resolution? It's for the renovation project. Rick? Lynn? Discussion? Questions?
this is actually just the next step in authorizing the district to spend the money to start spending it as things come in before we bond, and then once we need to, we can bond or ban, however is needed.
So we've already approved the project.
Yeah, you've approved the project, the public's approved the project.
No.
Now you're saying, okay, it's okay to spend money on the project.
So we got,
And then when we need to ban or bond, depending on what route we take, you're authorizing us to allow that.
how was the cost for this project? tracked? How would costs track, you said?
Once we get approval, even before, I'm not quite sure the timeline yet, but I will create a separate fund for it,
Okay.
and it'll be tracked everything through there. Right now, we've had a few expenses come in, newspapers, publishings and everything. This will go to it, when we publish this.
Are the architects, are their costs deferred until this part of the process, or?
We paid a preliminary cost,
Okay.
and then the remainder of it will come as the project is actually being worked on.
Will that preliminary part we paid be now allocated to this project, or is it absorbed in some of the general fund?
No, we paid it out of the general fund, but we coded it to prepay.
Okay.
So once I create that fund, once I have authorization to create it, I will put it into that. Right now, it's just sitting in limbo.
So at the end of it, we'll see every cost associated with the project from there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You said abandoned,
Yeah.
is there a difference? I've never heard of
Band is
that.
a 1 year anticipate, 1 year note. Bonding is when you do it for 15 years. If we need to, we will ban, we just need a little startup
For the
for
first
the
year.
first year, and then we will bond.
Do we get like a summary every month or something on how the expenditure is going for the work, or is that just something we get at the end?
Oh, you'll get it with the claims, the payment warrants.
Okay.
There'll be a separate, again, the cafeteria, the general fund, the federal fund. You'll see a, one for the capital.
Okay. I got one other question, Sue. When they put the new scoreboard in,
Not really business motion.
Yeah, can we,
Oh,
we've got a motion on the table. Are there any other questions about the bond and band? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, Tom, go ahead and ask it.
I was just wondering, when they put the new scoreboard, I realized that the last one, there was an issue with wiring. Is there any chance they could put the old scoreboard up here for like the girls? And then you could hardwire it right from the school? Because that was an issue. The wiring is what John said.
I don't know.
I mean, it would be nice when you're watching the girls' game, if you could look up there and see it, you know. You could almost put it right against the school as far as that goes.
I can find out from John. I
It
have
just-
no idea.
It just seems like a waste. It's a good scoreboard. It was the wiring that was.
So you're saying have a new one out there, but have one back here?
Right, right. It's just nice to be able to see what the girls are doing too.
Okay, I'll check and get later.
Can I have a motion to accept the budget status report of April 30th? This is Rick
Yes.
Second, Reg.
and Reggie. Becky?
This is just, where we stand as of 4:30. It's done, kind of goes along with the treasurer's report.
Where it says lottery gate, I see nothing added on there, but you have total rate $33,234.
What page?
First page, one around. Says lottery gate.
Oh, because we don't budget for it, because it's taken out of the general aid, but we do have to account for it separately. The lottery, they factor it into our general aid. When they give it to us, they code it separately, so we code it separately.
Are we gonna get any of that money that the governor's supposed to be getting out of the Indians for?
If we do, it'll be deducted from our general aid. Probably won't be anything extra, because it's, again, lottery aid,
Give
we
them
could
one
have
and take the other.
an influx in lottery aid, but our aid overall will not go up.
Would you be able to explain the columns, especially the last one?
The excess revenue?
Yeah.
That's when, again, I haven't budgeted for it, so it's over and beyond. Like for the real property tax,
Right.
you're gonna see we're under, but for the star reimbursement, we're over. You don't budget for the star until, because you don't know your numbers
Sure.
until the next year. So that's any excess,
So that's a good thing.
yes.
That's a good one.
Are there any other questions about the budget status report? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report of April 30th.
So moved.
I'll second.
Joe, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Do we want to start the principal report? We really only have about 3 minutes before the